Hey guys, I'm Amadeus, and what you see behind me is an actual classroom from King's University School of Art. And I snuck in here for you guys because I want to talk to you about this topic of being a self-taught creative. Hey guys, I'm Amadeus here, video producer and brand developer. And today I'm sitting in King's University right now, and I almost got kicked out actually because I'm not supposed to be in here. But I'm here because I want to talk to you about this epidemic that's going on, and this whole pretty much was the tragedy behind university students graduating and then not being able to find a job or find work. And for myself, I did a degree in business development, international business, and now I'm sitting here doing video productions and design and pretty much any visual communications that you can think of. I'm doing that for a living now, right? So how come someone like me can study a whole different topic? I study international business and now I'm making money doing video production. However, I have close friends of mine who studied film and videography, who studied media, I know people who study illustration and graphic design who struggling to find a job. So what's the difference between a self-taught creative and someone who's went through the university establishment, and what are some of the pros and cons of being a self-taught versus being going through the university system? So before I go into this video, I actually don't want to bash university students. So I will go right into the pros of being a university student, right? Now, I remember my first real graphic design job in Shanghai. I was doing a lot of packaging and a lot of the social media marketing for the company. And there were just things that when I originally went to that job, it took me time to kind of do. It would take me maybe a full day or days to complete the project, where everyone around me was just boom, they were on it. So I would say the one thing that a university student might have over a self-taught individual is just speed, because they might just know the technical things, the in and out of things like that. For me, I would say graphic design isn't my strong suit, but maybe that's because graphic design really isn't my strong suit. It's video, right? But anyway, let's just say hypothetically, right? Graphic design, and so let's just say a graphic designer, they learn everything through university. They know the ins and outs of everything, the technical parts of it, the history, why things are the way they are. For me, I kind of just had to learn on the job. I had to go right to YouTube tutorials, and whatever I needed to do or whatever I needed to learn, I kind of just learned right then and there using YouTube tutorials, kind of just figuring out on myself, right? So the whole learning process for me was very extensive, very long. As opposed to someone who actually went to university, they kind of gradually stepped into these things, so they kind of know more of the technical side of things, why things are the way they are. For example, I might be able to just do something for you, but I don't know why it is. I'm not really able to explain blending modes in Photoshop, right? I don't know what that means. I just kind of know how to use it, but I don't really know the technical side of it, right? So that's the first thing between hiring out someone who's someone who's self-taught versus someone who maybe they went to university, right? Had that formal education. So there's speed. So now let's go into the pros of hiring someone who is a self-taught individual like myself. And the one word, it's just very easy. It's just reality. Everything that I've done since I picked up that camera, everything I've done was just pure practical. I never had an assignment that was due that was theoretical. I never had to do anything for the sake of a paper or for the sake of a grade. Everything that I've done was for somebody or for myself. It was for real use. So if you want someone who wants that practical usage of a skill set, then working with someone who's self-taught may be the way to go, because I've never done anything for theoretical purpose. I always did something every time I turn on my cameras for a reason. And for someone who might be a formal student, they might not be used to that. They might be used to doing things for a particular grade, or they might be used to doing things for in a like a test or an assignment, or they might be used to working in a group too much, you know. Oh, that's another pro and con. I'll put that in the second one. So let's go into the second topic because that bleeds on to what I want to talk about. So the pro of hiring someone who comes from university is that they are great in working in groups, right? When I first entered my job as a graphic designer, it was like I just put my head down and that was it. Like, don't talk to me, don't whatever. I'm just gonna do my work because I was so used to kind of doing things on my own and not accepting critique from anybody else. So the benefit of going through the benefits of going through the university system is that people, they already know how to work in groups and they already know how to work in teams, and they know how to accept critique from other individuals. When I first came in, it was like no one could critique my work. I knew what was best, but in reality, I didn't. I had a huge ego, and because I was always self-taught, I never really had that input from somebody else, right? So when I started working, it took me a while to kind of grow into that. It took me a while to kind of receive critique from my peers. It took me a while to understand how to work in a group, how to work in a team, whatnot. It took me about like 6-7 months, and then I was really able to open up, right? So that's kind of a pro for, I guess, the formal educated creative. Now, for the self-taught creative, the pro for me is I know how to do things on my own. I don't need a team of 4, 5, 6 people around me to complete a project. So that means that I'm also a generalist. So when someone says, "Oh, Amadeus, I didn't know you did graphic design," well, it's because I had to be. I mean, I originally started my brand to do marketing. I always knew I wanted to be a marketing expert, but I knew if I really wanted to be a marketing expert, I had to know the visual side of it. So I started doing web design. Actually, that was my first thing. Like, it was web design. Then I got into like photography. Then I got into the whole graphic design. Then I got into video production, right? So I had to kind of learn everything, right, before I was able to provide my service. So the benefits of working with someone who's self-employed is that they not only have that skill set of just video production, but they know the marketing side of it, the branding side of it, the visual side of it, the sales side of it, the customer relation side of it. So there's so much more that I know as a self-taught individual. So those are the two main differences between a self-taught versus a formally educated creative. First being speed might be at the advantage of someone who's been through the formal education system, and also just being able to work as a team as an advantage for someone in an formal educated system, as opposed to someone who's self-taught. They might not have that speed at the beginning. All right? They might not have that speed, but eventually I've kind of caught on now. Right. So at the very beginning, I didn't have that speed, but now I do. But secondly, is working in a team. I would give that to the formally educated person. But working in a team for me, I can do it, but I'd much rather prefer to, kind of do things on my own now. So those are like the pros and cons of both. Obviously, I have a bias towards being self-taught because of this one thing. Well, two things really. I mentioned this in the video. It's just reality. I never did anything for theoretical purposes, but for the most part, it's just that hustle, that grind. Like, my portfolio is purely based off things that I've done for a reason. It's not based off something I've done in school. It's not based off something that, like I said, I did for a grade. I literally had to go out there and create my own work. Everything that you see in my portfolio, my YouTube channel, my Instagram, I've done it because I've created that opportunity. I went out there, I've pushed myself into the market, and I just made it, And I think that's one of the main things that separates, being someone that's self-taught to someone who's formally educated. Is just that, listen, just the heart and things. It's easy for someone to just stick with. They started out doing graphic design, but they stuck with it only because it's part of the degree, right? Or because they just want to finish the degree, right? But for someone who's self-taught in something, it really means that they really have a passion for it. that they didn't do it for a degree. They didn't do it for a grade. They didn't do it because their parents told them to. It's because maybe everybody around them said, don't do that because it's stupid, but you did it anyway for the most part, you know? Probably everybody around them was saying, oh man, you're making music. Oh man, you're doing videos. You should be in banking. You should be in this. You have a business degree. But now, like, I want to make videos for people, right? I want to do photography, like, because of that raw passion. I would say that grit is something that a self-employed or self-taught person might have over over a formally educated person. So that's how to really break down the two, classes of a creative. Ultimately, there's pros and cons of both. I don't want to go into deep detail, mainly because I don't really know the pros of being a formally educated individual, because my bias is towards being self-taught. Because like I said, it's all real and nothing's theory here. It's all, to the point, and it's all real work, right? So thanks for watching this video. I'm going to try to make some more videos in this area. I'm going to kind of conjure up some more things. But make sure you subscribe to this channel. And I have so much more for you, baby. I have so much more for you to watch. And remember, guys, be great.